Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru,
तू सुल्तान कहाँ हो मियाँ तेरी कबन वडाई जो तू दे सो कहाँ स्वामी मैं मूर्ख कहन न जाई आवो संत मिलो मेरे पाई मिल हर हर कथा करो हर हर नाम बोहित कल जुग खेवट गुर शब्द तरो हम अवगुण परे एक गुण नाही अमृत छाड़ बिखे बिखाही माया मोह परम पै पूले सुतारा स्यो प्रीत लगाई एक उत्तम पंथ सुनियो गुर संगत तह मिलंत जम त्रास मिटाई एक अरदास पाठ कीरत की गुरु रामदास राखो सरनाई गुरु रामदास राखो सरनाई संगत जी रल मिल के फतेह बुलानी जी वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह So महाराज जी कृपा दे नाल we are now at the 21st body of Japji Sahib, and in this body last week we covered half of this body, just the first part, because it kind of changes a little bit halfway through, the focus changes, so it's worthwhile doing one part, and then we're going to go into this week, hopefully do the 21st body, the rest of it, and the 22nd body, because they're quite, they work together in cosmology, if you want to talk about it. Maharaj talking about how the world was made and everything else like that, and how the world is structured. So, just to sum up from last week, we did Kirtan of Eo Har Ras Pave Jan Koi, and we looked at the idea that Maharaj tells us ki we have so many desires, and these desires actually cause us the mal. Nirmal honaya, nirmal, without mal, the mal actually is desire. And there's three types of Vashna, they keep us stuck in this Maya Jal, the Janjal of Maya. We're trapped in it because of these desires that we have inside us. And we looked at the Pancho, there's parts of desire, then there's also Hankar, Lobh and Kam, these things. But how do we get rid of these desires? Can we get rid of them simply by just focusing our mind to say, don't get Kami, don't get Hankari? That's quite hard, to just be destroying negativity. Maharaj teaches us that we can destroy negativity with something better, with positivity. So this Naam is actually the solution to cure us from these desires. And then we said, Eho Harras Pavejan Koi. This Harras, this experience of our Creator, let's just call it the experience of our Creator, this Maharaj tells us actually kills our desires. And in Anand Sahib, the long Anand Sahib, Guruji tells us exactly this. Maharaj says, Ki eh rasna tu anras raj rahi. Oh my tongue, you are stuck in wrong flavors, if you want to think about it. Eho haras. Then Maharaj says, Ki eh rasna tu anras raj, teri pyas na jaye hord kitte jichar haras pale na paye. The pyas will not go until we find this haras. So, benti hai ki in the Sangat, if you're sitting here in Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Darbar, the first thing we should know is the medicine Maharaj is telling us is haras. The experience of God is the medicine to solve our desires for this world and to change us into loving Vaheguru. So if we're thinking we haven't had that experience, I know for 21 years I came to Gurdwara and I hadn't had that experience. If we're thinking I haven't experienced God, then we need to stop. As simple as that. Because Maharaj tells ki prani tu aya laha len. Oh, Vaheguru is telling you, oh prani, you person who's got pran, you breathing person, you alive being, you've come to have this taste, this laha of life. If we're not experiencing God, we need to stop whatever we're doing with our life and experience God. And it's really that simple. Just stop whatever you're doing and say, I need to experience God first, then the rest of my life will be suffered. Otherwise, this Sikhi, you're just going to be playing with it. We're just going to be flirting with our Guru. We're not going to start the actual game itself. And the game of love starts with the experience of Waheguru. The benti hai in the morning, 4 a.m, simmer for 1 hour. If you haven't experienced God, commit yourself to turn up here at 4 a.m. 1 or 2 times a week, turn up here and say to Guruji, okay, you're telling me I can experience God? I'm here. I'm open. But we have to be open to receiving. We cannot receive if we're not open, if we're not there. Amrita Vela Sachinao Vadiyai Vichar. So this Harras is the first step towards falling in love with Waheguru. Then Maharaj says after that, then they go through the whole idea ki sab gun tere main nahi koi vin gun kite pagat na hue. Now we understand ki vin gun kite pagat na hue can mean once we have that experience and we know God is real, we have some anand through our dasam dwar up here and our trikuti. These are words that we should know about. Trikuti is here, dasam dwar is here. When we have that anand, then Maharaj tells us ki then you have to build your character. Vin gun kite pagat na hue. To become a pagat, then we have to build our character. And that's in line with the Sikhi principles. I can't go to them now, but if you go on the YouTube channel, there's a video called Ethics, Morals, the True Mint. What are the ethics of Guruji? And that comes from Japji Sahib as well. So please feel free to watch that. Now, after that, Maharaj says, Swast Art Bani Barma. It's a very complicated line actually. Took a long time. And really, intellectually, it's pointless. It's the feeling that's important. But there's 4 main ways we can understand this. One is relating to the previous Panktis. Maharaj said, Ki Sunya Manya Man Kita Pao Antargat Tirat Mana. What should we listen to? Is this Bani, this Brahm Bani, which has come from our beloved. Swast At Bani Barma. We should listen to that Kalyan Roop Waheguru. Kalyan means who's going to benefit us, who gives us mukti. From that mukti giving Bani, the mukti giving Waheguru has come this Brahm Bani. So we should listen to that. The next way of understanding this is also this Bani will keep us in Sat. Sat Bani hai and Bani will keep us Suhan, make us beautiful, and Sada Mana Chao. And always we will remain in bliss with this Bani. That says Nanak Bhagta Sada Vigas. You will stay in bliss with this Bani. The more you listen to Bani, it will give you Harras and keep you in bliss. Then Maharaj also says, Ki listen, in life we think, if I go down Sikhi, is it going to ruin me? Am I going to come out ruined? Am I going to become skint, pauper on the street? Maharaj says no. Char Padharat. There's these 4 treasures that people are supposed to seek. And these ancient 4 treasures are that the first person seeks dharam, some kind of moral duty, to stick true to their dharam. Then they seek some kind of karma. So family, kids, all those kinds of things, yeah? Then there's the other, which is art, money, that we should be wealthy, we should have, and that's called art. And the final one is moksha, ki mukti bhi mil jawe. Now these 4 things, if we get these 4 things, what's better than that? Maharaj says ki these 4 things are in Gurbani as well. Swast can mean to be healthy, and art can mean art, maya. So that in this Bani lies being healthy, and in this Bani lies being well off. Guru is not going to ruin us, Guru is going to make us wealthy. The Sikh Panth is very wealthy. Swast Art Bani Barma. In this Gurbani lies all those treasures, and in Gurbani it says ki Char Padharat Chare Pai Gurmat Nanak Har Pajo. Char Padharat Chare Pai. We get all these 4 things, but stay in Gurmat and Har Pajo. Do this bhakti of Waheguru. Another way of understanding the same thing is the Swast means Swasti, which is hail. Hail, I bow to Gurbani. Swast At Bani Barma. I bow to that Gurbani. The same way in Gurbani says ki Tis Johari Swast Tis Diban Apag. I bow down to that Waheguru, whose Diban is amazing. Guru's telling I bow to that Waheguru. So the Swast can mean bowing as well. And finally, the traditional understanding of this Swast At Bani Barma is ki Waheguru is Kalyan Roop. He's the one that can give us mukti. And actually, Guruji is saying ki Lekho Siddho, this truth, that this mukti that we seek came from Waheguru. Waheguru also made Maya, art. And Waheguru made Maya. They say to him, how did Waheguru make Maya? Was he Nirgun or Sargun? And it's a philosophical debate. Maharaj says ki everything came from the Bani Barmao. So Barmao refers here to the creative power of Waheguru, Barma, to make something happen. And Maharaj says that from the Bani, from that word, Oankar, Brahma Utpat. So with that word came creation. And this body is quite relevant because this body is going to talk, from now on we're going to talk about creation. What did Maharaj say? How creation happens. So through this word, Oankar, came Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Came all the creation, the sustaining and the destruction of this world. Came from Waheguru's one word, Kita Pasao Eko Kavao. With that one word. And then these energies came from that Sargun and Nirgun Waheguru. As we say, ki Sargun, Nirgun, Nirankar, Sun Samadhi Aap. Waheguru is all these three things. And then it says, oh, Waheguru is Sat. That Waheguru is the only Sat that remains. Everything else can get created and destroyed. Waheguru is Sat. And oh, Waheguru is Suhan. Sat, Suhan, Sada Manachao. Waheguru is mostly is beautiful, but also Waheguru is always in Chao. Waheguru is always happy. Yeah, we might be unhappy in our life. Waheguru is not unhappy. Waheguru is watching this world with bliss. And it says in Asa Diwar, ki Waheguru apine aap sajiyo, you made yourself, apine rachiyo now, then you made the name. Then we said again, I'll repeat this a few times, Dui kudrat sajiye, then you made kudrat. Secondly, you made kudrat, kar asan ditto chao. You came and sat in kudrat and you're watching it now. Ditto is to watch. Ditto chao. And again, last that Maharaj is telling us Waheguru is enjoying this game. Now, Bada Khel Tamasha is another word that we use in Gurbani. Ek Khel Tamasha. It shows this world is not real. It's just a bit of a play. It's real for us, but it's also a play that Waheguru is watching. We're characters. We're that supreme soap opera, you know, on Waheguru's TV, if you want to think about it that way. And so don't get too stressed about life. There's an aim to it. And then Maharaj gets asked a question by the Siddhs. They say, okay then, you told us all these things, but tell us this one thing. When was the world made? How was it made? They ask this question. They say, Kavan Subela, Vakt Kavan, Kavan Thit, Kavan Var. Kavan Suruti, Maho Kavan, Chit Hoa, Akar. I'll translate that slowly. They say, Kavan Suvela. Kavan means which? Gone. Kavan which? What was that time? Vela is Punjabi for time. And this is a word from Sanskrit. So it's an Indian word, if you can think about it that way. When was that time? And then Vakt Kavan. What was that Vakt? And that's the Persian word for time. So when was that time? Both from the Hindus, not Hindu, but Indian religion, Indian tradition, and also from the Semitic tradition, Vakt Kavan. It's addressing both those groups. Kavan Thit, when was that date? Kavan Var. Var is a day of the week. As we know, Somvar, Mangalvar, Buddhavar. So these are all Vars, the days of the week. What day of the week was the world made? What date was it made? Kavan Thit, Kavan Var. What day of the week? You might think, come on, what day of the week? What is it? How do we know? That's Maharaj goes on to explain that. What day of the week was it made? Now you might think, why is Maharaj insisting upon, why are the Siddhs asking this question? Why do they want to know? They want to know when the world was made, but also why specifically which day, which week? Because actually, in every religion, every tradition, some days are holier than others. Yeah? So if you look at the week, the Hindus roughly have got Tuesday. Yeah? So some Pole Sikh out there, and in my family as well, on Tuesday, I don't eat meat, don't drink. You think, come on man, what's that? Then, some people, Fridays, that's for the Muslims, they do the Jummah. Saturdays, that's the Jews, that's their day of rest. Sundays now has become the Christian day of rest. It used to be Saturday as well, but they changed it to Sunday. So there's a whole debate in Christianity about which day of the week. So there's like 4 days taken up of the week. There's 3 other days for other people. So I'm sure at some point, maybe 2,000 years down the line, the Buddhists might pick one. And we've already chosen Sunday because we live here. Sunday is a Gurdwara day. So it's kind of like, what's the holy day? And if you want to make it a bit more trivial or make a joke about it, when I was growing up, I used to come to Gurdwara on Sundays. That day, I wouldn't shave. I was Munna. So, we're going to Gurdwara today. Don't eat meat today. Don't shave today. So, this is kind of like Maharaj is addressing these things about days and weeks. So, they ask him, When was the day made? Kavan Suruti. What was the season? Is there a holy season? Maho Kavan. Which month? There's even holy months. The Christians have the period of Lent following Christ coming back. And Islam has the month of Ramadan. So there's holy periods. Jit Hoa Akar. Akar being that Ik Oankar. That Akar, when the world was made. They say, when was it made? What day, what week, what season, what month? And Maharaj answers. Maharaj says, Velna Paya Panditi. Jehove Lake Puran. Maharaj says, if your Pandits knew, the Pandit tu pata honda, the Pandits would have written it in the Puran. You don't know. Velna Paya Panditi Jehove Lake Puran. You would have written it in your Puranas. It's referring to all the Hindu traditions, all the Eastern religions. Then Waqt na payo Qadiya. The Qadis are the Qazis, the Islamic teachers, the Islamic priests. They don't know. Waqt na payo Qadiya je likhan lek Quran. They would have written it in the Quran. And if in fact we can go further and say that it's not just the Islamic text, but it's also the Christian and the Judaic text that is referring to all those Semitic religions. They would have written it in. And it's a proven fact that not a single one of those Semitic religion texts was written by the Prophet themselves. It was always written by other people afterwards. The same with the Quran, is always found by the people. So Maharaj is saying the Qadis would have written it into the Quran, because the Qadis are the ones, the Qazis are the ones that compile the Quran. So Guru Granth Sahib Ji was compiled by Guru Arjan Dev Ji, Ad Granth Sahib, and they left space for Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. So it's not about comparison, it's that we should be aware our Guru Granth Sahib Ji is one of the few texts on the planet that is written by the founder themselves. And if you look at Asa Diwar, other parts, at the end of that there's a little word, should. You see at the end of Asa Diwar it says should. That's Guru Arjan Dev Ji ticking off what Bhai Gurdas Ji had written. We don't know that sometimes. Bhai Gurdas Ji would write down what Guru Arjan Dev Ji said, and then Guruji would read it themselves and they go should. And then he mistakes, they change it. Then it becomes should. So that word's in Guru Granth Sahib Ji a number of times. And that's pointing to that fact that this is by Guru Arjan Dev Ji's own hands. They checked it. So, then Maharaj says, Waqt na payo Qadiya je likhan lek Quran, then Thitvar na jogi jane. This has two meanings. Now, the Maharaj is talking to the yogis in the Siddh now. They say Thitvar na jogi jane. The yogis even don't know what day and what date and what day of the week it was. But another way of understanding this is that we are the yogis. You see, Sikhs are trying to have yoga. Yoga means union. So if you're trying to achieve union with Waheguru, you don't care what day of the week it is. Nit name. Sikhi is all about nit name. There's no special day of the week for us. There's no like, okay, Sundays do your part, but other days don't worry about doing it. Guru Sahib has given us a daily routine. Nit rak urtaru. Right at the very end of the whole of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, it says Thal vich tin vastu payo. Three things. Sat, Santok, Vichar. These three things. Amrit Naam Thakur ka payo, uska sabat dharo. Jeko khave, Jeko bunche, tiska hue udharo, ehe vast. This thing that Maharaj has given you, ehe vast taji nahi jai. Don't drop it. Don't leave it. Nit rak urtaru. Daily. Keep this daily and put it inside your hirda. So Sikhi has got this amazing thing which sometimes we don't even know. There's no special days. Apart from the Guru's birthday, there's no special days. Every day is the same. Sun comes up, Sikh is up before the sun comes up, does his part, then maybe has a bit of a rest, goes about his daily work. There's no special days for us. The earth has no special days. Everything works the same every day. Birds get up the same day. They don't care what day of the week it is. So same, we don't care. Then Maharaj says, Thitwana jogi jane rut mahuna koi. There's no such special month. There's no one knows what month the world was made. No one knows what season it was when the world was made. Then Maharaj says ki Ja karta sirthi ko saje. That Waheguru, the creator, Ja karta sirthi ko saje. Sirthi means srishti. Sirthi ko saje. The one who made the world, the one who is a doer. Karta is not just a creator, it means the one who's doing everything. Ja karta sirthi ko saje ape jane soi. Ape janda hai. Simple Punjabi. Only he knows when the world was made. Only he knows what season it was. Maharaj says, look, next says, Kiv kar akha, Kiv salahi. How should I speak then of this Waheguru? Kiv kar akha, Kiv salahi, Kyo varni kiv jana. There's 2 or 3 ways of understanding this one line. One is, ki how can I explain the creation? Kiv kar akha. Then, Kiv salahi. How can I praise this creation? Now when you describe the creation starting, that's the describing Brahma, because the creation happened. If you praise the creation, you're praising the one who's keeping care of it. That comes down to the other, which is Vishnu, the one who is actually keeping everything going. How can we praise? We praise what we see. We praise the Palna. So it's referring to those 3 energies now. The one that made it, the one that keeps it going, the one that destroys it. Kiv kar akha, Kiv salahi, Kyo varni, Kiv jana. The jana can refer to the destruction, not going away, but how do I know when it will be destroyed? So these 3 energies are also discussed in these words, but ultimately Maharaj is asking, how can I praise this Waheguru? What can I do? What can I say? Maharaj says, I can't say anything. Nanak, my Nanak says something very interesting. Nanak says, Nanak akhan sabko akhe, ik du ik syana. These questions that we talked about, Maharaj is saying, sabko akhe. There's loads of people that speak about this. Sare kandinde. And then ikdu iksyana. That means, ikdu ik means, I am better than the next. In English it's called one-upmanship. Everybody says, I know more than this other person. Later on I'm going to commit the same mistake by explaining how Maharaj talks about creation. But actually, Maharaj is saying, everybody thinks he's better than the next person. I know more than the next person. You see? Ikdu iksyana. Everybody's trying to explain that I know how the world was made. I know how it was created. I know what day, what week, what month. And every new religion that comes up has a new theory on it. So they're all competing for this one theory. And nowadays you go on YouTube, there's people that preach their religion, and the first thing they say is, look at our Bible, and look at creation, look at science, we're more scientific than the rest of them. There's whole theories, there's people on, like for example, a good one is YouTube for Islam. The biggest thing they preach is, we know about creation, Islam and science. There's a whole topic about this. So, a Sikh really doesn't get into this debate, because Maharaj says next, Ikdu iksyana, Vadda sahib, Vaddi nai, Kita jaka hove. Oh, that Waheguru is Vadda. Or both Vadda. He's the biggest of them all. He's the greatest. Vaddi nai. Waheguru is so big, and his name, his fame is biggest. Everybody knows about Waheguru. No matter where you go, people say there's one. Ultimately, they understand there is one. And Kita jaka hove. Only Waheguru's, what Waheguru orders to happen, that's all that happens. Man says, what's the point? What's the point of trying to compete over this knowledge when everything that Waheguru does is all that happens? It's not in our power. Nanak jeko apo jane age gyana so hai. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, if the person says, I know, they don't go forward. Apo jane. If someone says, I know, then when they leave this world, they're not beautiful in the next world. So by claiming to have intellectual superiority over somebody else and expecting to know how the creation was made, Maharaj says, you won't know. And actually, your face will be blackened. It won't be beautiful and glowing. It won't be Nanak te mukh ujli. The only thing that can make your face shine when you leave is Jinni naam te aaya. Gaye masakat kaal Nanak te mukh ujli. Keti shutti naag. Only those people who actually praise Waheguru and do this salah and forget about everything else, they're the ones that are shining. Agege, they are beautiful, but the other ones are not. And there's a line from Gurbani where Maharaj talks about this. And there's a lot of Bani we'll talk about later on, which explains creation. And the thing is that at the end of this, there's a famous part on Ang 1035. And it's in Rag Maru, and Guru Nanak Dev Ji explains creation. And right at the end, we go to this line later on, Maharaj says ki Pure gute soji hoi Nanak saath rate bismadi bism pay gun gaida. Nanak says everything comes from the Pure Guru, this understanding of what we should do with it, but only those people who sing his praises, they're the ones that are looking at the world with bismad. They're the ones that actually are like, wow, the world is amazing, who sing the praise of Waheguru. Everything else is waste. So we're going to do a Shabad now. The Kirtanis will come out under the hair. We're going to do a Shabad now, which is exactly about this topic, but actually says, what's the point of going outwards when we can go inwards? And this is Jo Brahminde Soi Pinde. Whatever is outside, in the Brahman, in the creation, what's outside? Soi Pinde. Pinde is your body. Pind can be in the village, but here is referring to our body. What's outside is inside. What Waheguru is outside, Waheguru is inside. Do we need to go outside to learn anything? No, we need to go inside. Jo Brahminde Soi Pinde, Jo Khoje So Pai. The one who looks for it inside, they find it. And it relates exactly to what Maharaj told us before. Sunya, Manya, Man Kita, Pao, Antargat, Tirath Mana. Go inside. If you go inside, Maharaj says you will find it. So as they say in English, within and without. Within is inside and outside is without. So if you go within, you get it. If you don't go within, you go without. Tonu Milnani. Pai Sahib Ji was lucky enough to be born into a Sikh family actually. And that's his cousin. It's pretty article, huh? Maharaj says, Kaya Deva Kayo Keval Kayo Jangam Jati. Within the body, Waheguru is inside. The body is a temple, the place of pilgrimage. And the body is the pilgrim. Everything is a Kayo. We're the pilgrim, inside us is the pilgrimage, and we are actually where Waheguru is. Then, Kayo Tupadeep Nai Beda, Nei Beda, Kayo Pujo Pati. Within the body is the incense. You know when we do incense stoop, in the body is that incense. And in the body is a lamp and all the offerings. What is the offering? Our mind. When we give our mind to our Guru, that's what they want. Then within the body is a flower. We bring things here to our Guru, we put them in front of our Guru. Food, or we might bring flowers. My mum likes to bring flowers. But do they give their mind? Because that's what one is asking for. Man beche, Satgur ke paas, tis sevak ke karj ras. When you sell your mind to your Guru. And then Maharaj goes on to say ki, Kaya bho khand khojte nav nid pai. I searched through many, many realms. But when I went inside, I found the 9 treasures. Nonid. Nakich aibo, nakich jaibo, Ram ki dohai. Nothing comes, nothing goes. It's the whole game itself. Maharaj is saying nothing comes, nothing goes. Why? Because Waheguru doesn't come, Waheguru doesn't go. And Waheguru is inside. Ram ki dohai. I pray to Waheguru, let me fall at your feet. Jo Brahminde Soi Pinde Jo Khoje So Pave. If you seek inside, you'll find Waheguru. In the last line, Pipa. That's Bhagat Pipa who wrote this Bani. Pipa Pranve. Pipa kenda, oh Waheguru Ji, I made this benti. What's that benti? Param Tat hai. Satguru. Hoi Lakhave. What that Lord is the true essence. The Param Tat is Waheguru, and he reveals himself through the Satguru. Guru Nanak Dev Ji has come as that light to show us what Waheguru is like. This morning they were reading from the Akhand part, and it says, Kabir Ji says, what's the Waheguru like? What's Waheguru like? He goes, like the person of Waheguru. Waheguru is like the person of Waheguru. And that's Harji kaisa hue, iska Harji jaisa Harjan hue. Like the Harjan, that's Harji. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji for us is an embodiment of that Waheguru. For us, that's who we bow down to. Because who can bow down to Waheguru? We can bow down to our Guru.
बहु खंड खोजते नव नेघ पाई काया बहु खंड खोजते नव नेघ पाई काया बहु खंड खोजते नव नेघ पाई ना कछ आए वो ना कछ जाए वो ना कछ आए वो ना कछ जाए वो राम की दुहाई राम की दुहाई कायो देवा कायो देवल कायो जंगम जाती कायो धूप दीप नहीं बेदा कायो पूजो पाती कायो बहु खंड खोजते काया बहु खंड खोजते नव नेघ पाई ना कछ आए वो ना कछ जाए वो राम की दुहाई काया बहु खंड खोजते नव नेघ पाई जो ब्रह्मंड सोई पिंड जो ब्रह्मंड सोई पिंड जो खोजे सो पावे दीपा प्रणव परम तत्व है सतगुर होए लखावे सतगुर होए लखावे काया बहु खंड खोजते नव नेघ पाई राम की दुहाई काया मोह खंड खोजते नवनीत पाई नवनीत पाई नवनीत
We're going to do some simran now because we have to go inside. Maharaj said, we did Sikhya from Maharaj, now we're going to put it into practice. Sunya, fir manya, accept it, now we're going to man kita and get that love, power. So, as Maharaj tells us again and again in Gurbani, that this is all about simran. And it's had this, that even when Maharaj says ki everything comes from Vaheguru, the only way back is through Naam. So we'll do some simran. Jin japya, tin hi sukh paya. Har ke naam, na lage jamtir. Only the person who meditates on him finds peace. Without Vaheguru, if we have the arrow of death, if death is sitting at us, looking at us, he got us in our targets, he won't be able to hit us if we say Vaheguru properly.
Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru,
as we said, Juge Juga Jugantar Sahib Sach Soi, that true Vaheguru, every age, the true master was that Vaheguru, Utpat Parlo Avarna Koi. He is the one who creates creation, and Parlo, he is the one who destroys, there is no other. Ek. And then, Aisa Mera Thakur Gehan Gambir, such is my Thakur, my Lord, my Master. He is Gehan, very profound, very deep, and Gambir, we don't know. And then Maharaj says, Ki Jin Japya, Tin Hi Sukh Paya, Har ke naam na lage jam tir. If we take this naam, then the arrow of death will not strike us. So now, the conversation with the Siddhs goes on to the next level, where the Siddhs say, okay, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, you told us now that we shouldn't think that we know anything. Yeah, Agge Gyana Sohe. Jeko Apo Jane Agge Gyana Sohe. If anybody says, I know, they won't go forward with pride, with Vaheguru's honor. So, they need to be humble. Then they ask him, okay, then tell us one thing. You said that I've heard there's 7 heavens and 7 hells. Patala, Patal, this is the body. And they said that they say that there's 7 heavens, 7 hells, and also in Hindu mat they say ki teen lok. That you got the Swarg lok in the heavens, you got where we are mat lok, and then you got the hells, heaven hells. And they say, okay, explain to us then, what's up? Explain this world to us. You say you've got Brahm Gyan, you're one with Vaheguru. Tell us then about this world. And Guru Sahib says, okay. Maharaj says, Patala Patal Lakh Agasa Agas Odak Odak Pal Thake Ved Kehen Ikvat. So the first line, Maharaj says, Ki there are lakh means hundreds of thousands. But in here, it refers to Beyant. It's not referring to just 100,000. So there's not like a fixed number. It's referring to Beyant. And Patala Patal. Patal refers to the lower heavens, the lower, like hells is what I call it. Or it can also refer to the earth. So there's many earths. It's referring to both things. And then Lakh is Beyant planets, Beyant earths, Beyant hells, Beyant different places of existence. We're going to talk about it. Then Lakh Agasa Agas. Same word, it joins both parts. Agasa, Agas means from Akash, that the heavens. That there's millions and millions of heavens and different realms of existence, but not even that, there's millions and millions of different worlds and their different skies that people live under. So this is interesting because they've been told 7, and in fact, in the Quran, the reason the word 7 comes up is because the Prophet Muhammad was taken to heaven and he was shown 7. So obviously it's part of their scripture. The reason I say this idea of Islam is because Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the story about him, Maharaj went on travels, you see, and they went to Baghdad and they went to Mecca. And when they were in Baghdad, it's an interesting story that when they went there, by Gurdas he says, that they set up base outside of Baghdad. So imagine our Guru, second most travelled person in history, recorded. They went to Baghdad, and when they were there, they were doing their part. And they said there was a loud noise, like a bang. Like a bang is what the Qazi shouts out from the top of the tower. He come to prayer. You know when this is the call for prayer? So there was a loud noise by Guru Nanak Dev Ji as well, like a jakara or something, very loud noise. And people came to see who is this person that made this loud noise. And there's Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and they see he's a spiritual person. At this point, the most spiritual person in Baghdad as they call it now, the British army's there. You know, people in this country have been there. In Baghdad, the Pir Dastagir comes out. The Pir Dastagir, this story is also related on the channel. But what happens is that Pir Dastagir has a conversation with Guru Nanak Dev Ji. And they say, you just told us Ki Patala Patal Lakh Agasa Agas. That there's millions of planets. But we believe in 7. So this is heresy as per Islam. This is saying that the Prophet Muhammad didn't know what he saw, but he just related what he saw. You see? So they made theory out. Because of what he saw, they said that's how many there are. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, no, there's millions of them. And they have a debate. And Bhai Gurdas Ji writes about this, that there was a long sort of a discussion between themselves and Pir Dastagir. At this point, Pir Dastagir says, if you say to me that there's loads of these lakh, show me them. And actually, some stories say that Pir Dastagir was too old, because he was, in his line, he was a 27th Pir in that line. He was quite old, and he couldn't cope with it. And other people, some people say, well, if Guruji had showed him, he would have claimed that he'd seen all these places, and he would have called himself the Guru. So what they said is, I'll take your son. So Pir Dastagir's son was taken on a tour of these lakh. All these bayant we talk about, Maharaj Ji took him on a tour. They come and then I'll show you that these exist. Because they wanted proof, you see. Now some places Maharaj shows people what can be done. Other places they just write it for us. Gurbani, Maharaj says ki Satgur ki bani sat kar jano gur sikho har karta aap moh kadai. So this bani is from Waheguru direct. So we accept it, but this Pir didn't. So his son went on a tour. And everywhere they went, for the sake of proof, they took a butter and they brought back some prasad, a little bit of prasad from each place. See? Where the holy prasad was handed out. So even in the heavens and the hells, there's prasad. There's people doing part there and they're making prasad. Even now, in every gurdwara, there's prasad. There's a reason for that. That there's an offering given to the Sangat. The Guru's Bani is being sung and going into that prasad, pala hundaya. Something good happens from that prasad, and the kids love coming to Gurdwara as well. So there's an added benefit to it. So they brought back a batta of prasad. And when they came back, people were like, Haran. Because in Paigudasi Avara, they said they disappeared like that. Literally, they held hands and Maharaj disappeared. And they went on a tour and they came back. Some people say they just closed eyes. We don't know, we weren't there. Point is, this has happened. And Maharaj came back and this kid had a bowl of prasad with him. So, it's an interesting fact because we say we don't do miracles. Maharaj doesn't want us to believe in God because of the miracles of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. It's not a good reason to believe in Waheguru. The best way to believe in Waheguru is you do Naam Simran and you experience Waheguru, then no one needs to tell you anything else. You know. You know because Maharaj says ki aisa naam niranjan hoye jeko man na jane man koi. That the people who accept this, then they find out. Jane. They know Waheguru is pure and that name is pure. So then Maharaj goes on to say to the Siddhs, this is a separate story. Going back on, Maharaj said, Odak pal thake Ved kahan ikvat. Odak means the end. So Odak, end and the end. Pal thake, pal is to search. Pal thake, they got tired. Odak pal thake Ved kahan ikvat. That the Vedas, the Hindu scriptures, they say that if you search for the ends of Waheguru, Odak pal thake, you will get tired, but you will not find the ends of Waheguru. Paravar means from this end to the other end, you will never find the ant of Waheguru. Another way of understanding this is that ikvat, the ikvat means either one word, that they say this thing, they say this, ikvat kendene. Yeah? They say one thing, you will not find Waheguru, or it means also that there's one reality, Ekavastav. There's only one Vastav really, and that's that Waheguru. Then Sahas Athara Kehen Kateba Aslu Ikatat. So Kateba refers to the Semitic text. So the Quran, then also the Bible, and the Old Testament, i.e. the Talmud, and all the Jewish texts. So the Maharaj is now referring to those people. So you see that in all of this, Guru Sahib is talking to the Hindu tradition, and the Indian tradition, and the Semitic tradition. Because we sort of straddle them both. We don't come from them, but we have parts that relate to both. So, then they say ki Sahas Athara. Now this can mean two things, because in the Talmud, the Jewish books, it says there's 18,000 worlds. Sahas Athara. So Sahas means 1,000, Athara means 18, Sahas Athara. 18,000 worlds is what the Katebas say. Because actually, they accept the Katebas in all those three religions. Yeah, the Talmud is accepted by all three. Sahas Athara Kehen Kateba Aslu Ikatat. In the end, there's only one true reality, and that's Waheguru. But also, in some other translations, this means ki a Sahas refers to 1,000 rishis. If you can imagine in the old days, there were like supposedly 1,000 famous rishis. 1,000 rishis and the Talmud. Sahas and then Athara. Athara refers to the 18 Purans. So the Rishis are one, then the Purans, 18 Purans, and also Kahan Kateba. The Kateba now refers to the Muslim text. It can mean all three things. So basically all these texts, all the Rishis, all the Purans, and all the Katebas, all of them say कि they want to talk about Waheguru, but actually Ved Kahan, Aslu Iqtad. In reality, there's only one Waheguru. And apart from that Waheguru, everything is dust. Tat can mean dust as well. So it's quite another translation. Maharaj says ki lekha lo hoye ta likhiye, lekhe hoye vinas. Now, all this stuff is talking about people writing down in books, people teaching. So why this next point? Maharaj says ki look, if I was to explain it to you, lekha hoye ta likhiye, lekhe hoye vinas. The first part, if we could write it, we could. Lekha hoye ta likhiye. If we could write it, then we would write it. But we can't. Because it's such a long story that the writer, the lekha, one mardana, while he's finite, he's going to pass away just writing this story, and the person that takes over from him, he's going to die as well, and the person that takes over from him will also die. No one will ever finish writing this story. It's a never-ending story. Akatha Kahani. This is the Akatha Kahani about Waheguru. But also, it can mean that if we could count the world, lekha, if we could count the world, ta likhiye, lekha hoye ta likhiye. If we could count Waheguru, then we would be able to write down this creation story. But lekhe hoye vinas, everything which is in the lekha, everything which is created will ultimately get destroyed. Lekhe hoye vinas. So Waheguru is outside of lekha, a lake hai. Yeah? He's a lake. So we are not a lake, we are in the lekha. As we talked previously, that we have on our forehead the lekha, and on Waheguru's forehead there is no lekha. So lekhe hoye vinas, we who are in creation will ultimately get destroyed, because that one Waheguru will never get destroyed. So vinas means destruction, and we know this word because we say abinashi. Abinas means the one who can't be destroyed, and that's Waheguru. Then Maharaj says ki Nanak vadda akhiye ape jane aap. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says ki what do I do then? If I can't write it, what can I say? Nanak vadda akhiye. Nanak says, I just call him big. I don't worry about the rest. I just say bahut vadda, sab to vadda. He forgets everything else. Maharaj says Nanak vadda akhiye ape jane aap. Waheguru themselves knows. Why do I need to know? Waheguru knows. What do I need to do? Vadda akhiye. When we say Vaha, Vaheguru, that Vaha is wow. Vaho, Vaho. It's saying Vaho. So we're just saying, you know what, you are the greatest. Forget everything else, Waheguru is just the greatest. And that's what Maharaj is telling us. Ki Nanak says, listen, just say that Waheguru is the biggest, and we'll let Waheguru deal with this. So to take some teachings from this about an important topic, which is cosmology and the human desire for knowledge. Human beings are always searching for some kind of knowledge. So if we can go back to this body and look at this body from the point of view of intellectual search for reality, we can also talk about this body to say that Maharaj is telling us that listen, there's always going to be some kind of divine knowledge, and there's going to be some kind of human knowledge. There's human knowledge and what we can achieve, and there's divine knowledge. Well, Waheguru knows everything. So in this situation, there's a conundrum, because actually sometimes there are things that we don't know, and we know that we don't know them. These are, if you want to talk about it, it's called known unknowns. We know that we don't know them. We know there's a limit to our knowledge, but we don't know them. But what do we do? Now, I'll just bring something here from modern society, just to give us an idea. Maharaj tells us in Gurbani that the most important thing is that in this earth, while we're here, we should serve society. Do Simran and serve society. Like we say, the wheels of Sikhi are Seva and Simran. So applying that to this, we can say actually, we should be doing, what should we be doing? Instead of trying to find out when the world was made. We should be looking at Seva and Simran. So actually, if you look at modern science, they say keep smart objectives. These are called specific, measurable, attainable, realistic and timely. So society says, if you want to be clever, if you want to be smart, then make your goals in life specific, measurable, attainable, you can get them, and realistic and timely, that you can actually do them in time. Now, as human beings, we have a limited life. No one's really lived for that long. Yeah, 100 years max. In Gurbani actually tells at one point that there's only not guaranteed, but there's only really four decades that we have. The one when we're young, the one when we're Jawan, the one when we're kind of little bit, in our adulthood, and then the final one is when we are Buzurg, 40. So these 40 years is generally what people tend to do, and after that it's all extra, bonus. So Maharaj is telling us, listen, your sphere of concern and your sphere of power, like what you can actually affect here, and what you're concerned about is here. But really, we should be going inside. That's the sphere. Our real power lies here, in what we can actually affect. And then what we really want to care about might be this big. So if we go inside, that's what actually we can change. And taking this to mean like, okay, is it specific? Find Waheguru. It's quite specific, yeah? What's that? Say the one name and read Gurbani. Our red is quite specific, and we can do it because it is measurable. We can see, are we doing our part? Are we doing our Simran? Are we doing Seva? So the path for us, the red of Sikhi, is designed to get us to this goal of Waheguru. It is smart because it is specific and it is measurable, and also it's attainable. In this century, people have attained Waheguru. Maharaj tells us, if you do this way, you will get to Waheguru. It's not unattainable for a good Sikh. Because Maharaj ne apar kirpa kiti hai on the Sangat and on the this way that they've given us, is attainable. This har ras, this Amrit Naam is attainable. And then Maharaj says, is it realistic? Is it realistic to be a Sikh? Yeah, I was asked this week, I was on BBC radio, they said, is it realistic to ask girls to keep their kesh? I said, well, they don't take Amrit, then they're going to have to. It's realistic. It is realistic. Some people might look at their life and they haven't got kesh, and they might have not been in Khalsa Red. They might say, it's not realistic for me. But they're actually judging themselves. They're not looking at it from Waheguru's eyes. Waheguru is saying, I can forgive you. All that you've done, I can forgive you, and you can come back onto Sikhi. Don't lose sight. This path that we've been given is very realistic. No matter where you are right now, you might be cutting your hair, you might be trimming your beard, whatever it is, you might not be doing your part. The first step is, get here at 4 AM and get some of that harras. First thing first, get the love for God, everything else will follow. And then slowly, charan saran gur ek panda jai chan. Satguru kot panda aage hoye leta. It's very realistic to take one step towards our Guru. We can choose today, if we want to do it tomorrow morning, play Japji Sahib for 10 minutes before we go to work. We can choose if we're going to do 5 minutes of Simran. Even if we play a tape, we can just play a tape and listen to it. It's very, very realistic Sikhi. It's not some fancy, you have to be a monk. Because a lot of religions say, if you want to follow this religion, become a monk, go live in the mountains. This one is much more realistic. Yeah? Just live in the world, do your part Simran, and just get that naam. We can see, if we take it a little bit further, that in cosmology even, if we take it further for the last 10 minutes, we'll just talk about cosmology. What's knowable, what's unknowable, can also come down to Guruji telling us a little bit about the world, which is very deep, profound knowledge, and then afterwards, we're left to say, you know what, I know what my focus is naam, but I know this stuff. So, human knowledge, infinite knowledge, Maharaj says, infinite knowledge I can't give you, but I can give you something that you can take away. And we can take that from Sukhmani Sahib. Guruji goes into this world, how it was made and how it was created. So we're going to now just look at what does Gurbani tell us about this world. Just because we talked about the world and how it was created. And in Sukhmani Sahib, Guru Sahib goes into it in quite detail. Maharaj says, ki kai kot khani ar khand, kai kot akas brahman. That there's millions of creations, fields of creation, many galaxies. Khand. Kai kot akas brahman means many skies, many solar systems. Kai kot hoye avatar, kai jugat kino bisthar. Millions are the incarnations of Waheguru, the people that have become one with Waheguru, and millions are the ways that Waheguru's made this bisthar, this earth. Then this is really important. Maharaj says, Kai bar pasrayo pasar, sada ek ekankar. Interesting point. Maharaj says, Kai bar pasrayo pasar. Many times this creation has been created. What we're talking about here is what they talk about in science, from the beginning. Was the world only made once? Or does it go like this, go back, and like this, and like that? Maharaj says, Kai baar pasriyo pasar. Many, many times the world was made. So this one world we're living in now, this is not the only world that's ever been. We think in science they've worked out through, Einstein's theory of relativity, they've worked out that the world was made 13.7 billion years ago. This world. But what about the world before that? You see, because Gurbani is always going to be true. Aaj sach jugad sach hai, pi sach nanak hosi pi sach. Even if they work out the exact day the world was made, Maharaj is telling us, Kai baar pasriyo pasar. You can only know about this world. What about the many times before that the world was made? Yeah? We don't know that. So this is the limit of human knowledge. Might be that we find out about this world. We will never find out about the worlds beforehand, and we will never know about the worlds after this. The limit of human knowledge is always going to be limited because Waheguru is beyond, Agam, Agad. Waheguru is beyond all kathana. Then Maharaj says, Sada Sada Ik Ekankar. That forever, that Waheguru is the one. Sada Sada Ik Ekankar. From that one comes everything. He's the only creator, the only doer. We talked about this in much more detail on the first time we started Japji Sahib, that even the word Ik Oankar has got the sound in it. The Ik Oankar. And that is the whole history of everything. From that one, with the sound, Akar came. That's how deep, that's just one thing. And it goes back to this, because Ik Oankar, you can go, it's a mantra. If you didn't know this, there's 5 mantras in Sikhi, and the Bij mantra is Ik Oankar, just by itself. Now when you say a mantra, you say it again and again and again. So Ik Oankar, Ik Oankar, Ik. Kai baar pasriyo pasar. It's the same thing. You started from Ik, the world came up, and then we're going to go back to Ik. So the world's going to collapse again. And if you study this in science, again, Einstein, seen as the brightest guy ever, his theory was again the same thing. It's called cyclical theory of the world being made. That the world came up and the world went down. The world came up and the world went down. To go into more science about it, Einstein actually predicted this, but then he couldn't prove it because he got stuck. He didn't know enough, basically. He wanted to prove it, but he couldn't prove it. And now, many, many years later, they've come up with a new theory called string theory. The string theory takes Einstein's theory of relativity. How to say that word? Relativity. It takes that word, it takes that theory, and then it adds to it a few certain things. And not to go into too much detail, the point is that string theory now says that it's possible for the worlds, they have to be in a world before this world. And it's called that there was a creation and expansion, and that's called the Big Bang, and then it's called the Big Crunch. Everything goes back. And Guruji tells us this, Ki Kai baar pasriyo pasar, Sada Sada Ik Ekankar. The deepest level is actually, not many people can go into it, is understanding, but even scientists will one day be reading Sukhmani Sahib to work out, that there's many, many worlds. There's not just, there's a many world theory as well, there's many dimensions, and that comes in string theory as well. That there's Patala, Patal, Lak, Agasa, Agas, many, many worlds, many, many dimensions, many, many heavens, many, many hells, many, many states of being. But also, that this world we're seeing now is going to go back on itself, it's going to come back up again. And in Gurbani, it goes into a bit more detail about what happened before this. Because when we say Aad Sach, Jugad Sach, Hai Pi Sach, Nanak Hosi Pi Sach, it's a very deep thing, just in that one slope. That Aad refers to before time. So in this point where there was nothing, there was still time. It's before time. And science tells us that actually time is a dimension. There's 4 dimensions. Time is also a dimension. So at that point where everything becomes one, there is no time. Because there's so much mass, relativity to times is mass, yeah? So when there's so much mass, time stands still. And I'll read this out because people think, well, what does Sikhi say about cosmology? I'll maybe do a video for it on YouTube. But here, Maharaj tells us very clearly what happens. This was in that Bani I mentioned earlier, Maru by Gunnar Dev Ji. And Maharaj says, Arbad Narbad Tundakara. For countless eons, there was utter darkness. Taran na gagan hukam apara. Taran na gagana hukam apara. There was no earth, there was no sky. There was the only infinite command of his hukum. Na din ran, na chand na suraj, sun samad lagaida. There was no day, no night. There was no moon, there was no sun. Waheguru Ji sat in primal samadhi. Sun samad. Sun samadhi. Waheguru was sitting in complete bliss. Sun samadhi. And we said that Sarguna, Nirgun, Nirankar, Sun samadhi aap. Apas ki Nanaka, ape hi fir jao. The Waheguru Ji is Sargun, Nirgun, Nirankar. He's everything. And then in this same body, we get the teaching what Guru is telling us. Because after telling us a little bit about how the world was made, before time, a lot of people don't know that before time there was something. They think time has always been true. Mana says, no, time has not always been true. Before time there was Waheguru. But the Mana says ki, Virle ko gur shabad sunaya. Virle ko, very few people who listen to this shabad. Rare is that person who listens to the Guru's shabad. Why? Kar kar dekhe hukum sabaya. Because Waheguru listens, is watching all of us. He's doing everything, but he's watching us. If Waheguru is watching us right now, this is the teaching that Guruji is telling us next. Ki Khand, Brahmand, Patal, Arambe, Kupat Pargat Aida. The Waheguru formed the planets, the solar systems, the hells, and the heavens. Everything that was hidden was brought into creation. So what was latent energy became Pargat energy. It was there, but it wasn't there. The singularity now has become expanded. Now Maharaj says next in Taka ant na jane koi. No one knows his ants. However, Pure gurte soji hoi. This understanding comes from Waheguru. Even if you try, like we talked about now in finding out a little bit about how the world was made, even if you try your whole life to find the ant of this, but Nanak Sach Rate Bisamadi Bisam Pay Gun Gaida. Nanak says, all those who are attuned to the truth, this Sachi Bani is here to teach us the truth. That Prani tu Aya Lahalan. Oh Creator, oh Being, you've come to merge with your Waheguru. This is the truth about life. And then they Sach Rate Bisamadi Bisam Pay Gun Gaida. They are in Bismad. Bismad is pure Anand. Pure Anand. Vismad, Nad, Vismad, Ved, Vismad, Ji, Vismad. It comes in Asadivat. The person who understands this is just like, wow, 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 wow. It's just living in that wow. Because you know what? They understand that Jo Brahminde, Soi Pinde. Jo Khoje, So Pai. They get that true essence of what Guruji said to teach us, that forget about working out when the world was made. Go inside, find the Naam, get enlightened. This is the deepest thing that we can achieve. This Hire Jaisa Janam Kodi Badle Jai. That we've got this diamond of a life, we don't want to waste it. And then also serve society. We are here to serve society. The Sikh Panth has kept some of this truth for themselves. We haven't told the world about creation and how the world was made. They don't know about this cosmology view. They will do one day. But also, the Sikh world is not really serving society as it should be. We've come to sort this out. The Khalsa is not going to come until the Khalsa steps up and does what the Khalsa is supposed to do, which is to set up Dharam. Wherever there is Dusht, unko pakad ke, Maharaj said, I've come to destroy the Dusht. So we should be setting up a Khalsa army across the world and attacking countries where there are Dusht, like Syria, all these places. That's our job. When we tell our children, tell them, you know where there's bad people? That's our job to sort them out. Let them get it into their head young, that they're here to sort out the problems of the world. Because that is really why Guruji came here. Guru Nanak is Jagamai Pitaya. Guru Nanak wasn't sent just to Punjab. He was sent to the world. The teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji are here for everybody on this planet. And the fal of Guru Nanak Dev's teaching, i.e. the Khalsa, is also here to serve everybody in the world. So with that, we should just do a couple of Wahegurus to finish off. There's no Kirtani, so I'll say, and then you just say it back to me, and then we'll finish off. Okay, ji, Waheguru, 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 Vaheguru, 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 Next week we'll be going into a lot more about this exact idea. What should we do? So, Purachaka Mahapani ji, Vaheguru ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru ji ki Fateh.
Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru.